Kuva weapons so far have been absolutely fantastic to build and test, and all of them across the board have been extremely powerful. So of course I was super excited about the Kuva Ogris. And today my friends, we're gonna be diving deeper into this primary weapon. As per the usual, I'm gonna have a cheapo build, something affordable-ish that most players will be able to build. But of course we also have the quote-unquote endgame setup with a Riven. That said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually take a new player-friendly approach. I like to take my time and explain a lot of the aspects that veteran players should already be accustomed to. So in case you're a veteran and you already know most of the stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Kuva Ogris. Let us begin by quickly checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped. And by the way guys, I'm soaking wet because well anyway, you don't need to know that, so this is try number 1, take 1 of the vid, and hopefully the last take I will need. So the Kuva Ogris has different functionality from the standard version of the Ogris. One of the problems that I have complained about with the regular version of the Ogris was the fact that it was a charge weapon. No longer, my friends, take a look at that. It is no longer a bloody charge weapon. This is semi-automatic action. And by the way, the accuracy is so bad because I got heavy caliber on. But don't worry about that, you just want the explosion damage anyway, so it should be fine. By the way, when it comes to self-damaging, yes, the Kuva Ogris still deals a whole lot of damage to you. I'm not getting one shot because I have cautious shot on the weapon, and more on that just a tad later. The problem is, the magazine has been reduced from 5 to 3. So, oh my god, that accuracy is so good. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the functionality. Let's jump into a stat comparison between the regular version of the Ogris and the Kuva Ogris. Okay, so Ogris on Ogris action on this one. Accuracy is the same 100, but keep in mind it drops to 1.7 with heavy caliber. Where's the logic in that? Don't even ask. Honestly, just don't even ask. Charge rate no longer exists on the Kuva Ogris. Beautiful. And if you guys remember my Ogris review, I asked for 12% critical chance on another version of the Ogris or on an improved version of the Ogris. They only gave me 9%. You know what that means? If they only gave us 9%, then critical mods are still not viable. God damn it, you might as well leave it at 5%. Critical multiplier is the same. Again, the multiplier is fine at 2.0, but we gotta go to Harrow to get our crit on, or Arcane Avenger, etc, etc. Now, fire rate 1.5, not bad. Again, the magazine has been decreased from 5 to 3, which from my point of view, considering the base critical chance wasn't really needed. So there you go, alarming 2.1 seconds reload, so a bit faster reload. What is that? That's like, what, 10-15% faster reload, a lot more status chance, 47% instead of 35%, but because of how the weapon acts and because of how much status chance it had before, you're not really gonna see much of a difference because of this status chance, god damn it. When it comes to the damage, the Kuva Ogris is actually one of the few weapons that received a significant buff in damage. Take a look at the damage numbers, just compare them. The Kuva Ogris actually has more, which is amazing, and that's not even counting the weapon elemental bonus you're gonna be getting from your progenitor. Keep in mind guys that if you want to go for something like heat as a progenitor, you want extra heat on your Ogris, go for something like Ember. If you want Toxin, go for Saryn. If you want electricity, you can go for Volt or Valkyrie, etc, etc. I got another video on that one. So again, this one received a heavy duty buff in damage, and I was really hopeful when it came to the performance of the weapon. Now keep in mind that every single Kuva weapon will have mod capacity 80 out of 80 when it's fully maxed out. Now these weapons gain 2 levels per forma. Yeah, just like the Paracesis, which is absolutely beautiful from a certain point of view. I mean, it's beautiful because you get more mastery points, but it's not so beautiful because you need to plug in 5 forma just to get all of the mastery points out of it. Now I'm not saying that the build requires 5 forma, no. 1 forma, maximum of 2 will be more than enough. But if you want all the mastery points, you gotta plug in 5, so it reaches the capacity, the level 40 out of 80. God, 40 out of 40, then you jump into actions and you plug in the Orokin Catalyst, double that mod capacity and get 80 out of 80. The Orokin Catalyst can be obtained from Nightwave primarily, but you can also get it from the Daily Sortie, a blueprint that is, and you can also pay 20 plat to have one installed. Now, when it comes to the actual polarities, just go Vs, okay? Just go Vs and forget about it. Let's talk about a standard build for this one. And we got damage with Saryn as well as heavy caliber. Use this one at your own risk. And speaking of your own risk, cautious shot. Unfortunately, my friends, I had come into trouble with this one. From what I know, and I may be wrong on this one, most players in Warframe have cautious shot at about 2 from the top. right? Right, 2 from the top, because then from that point onwards, it requires a whole lot of credits and a whole lot of endo. And you don't really need more than that, right? Right? Well, wrong. If you don't have this one maxed out, any decent, well, normal, let's normal Warframe build will be getting 1 shot out of the Kuva Ogris. I had to max this one out so my Excal doesn't get 1 shot. And here's the build for Excal. I mean, it's not a crap build. I got plenty of vitality, I got plenty of armor, but still, unless the build was like maxed out, I was not able to survive a single shot out of the Kuva Ogris. So, enjoy the endo sync. Sorry about that one. Where was I? Oh yes, multi-shot with split chamber as well as vigilante armaments. No critical chance, no critical damage because it's not worth it, considering the base of 9%. And the rest, my friends, elementals, whatever elementals you want. You want gas? Go for gas versus Corpus. You want heat? Go for heat versus the infested. And corrosive versus Grenier, or radiation versus Grenier, especially if you're going index. You guys going index? Like index? Yeah, I like index, except the new map. I really don't like the new map. Go radiation in that case. Now, I have left 1 mod slot open because unfortunately, this is what I was expecting. This is what I was expecting, considering that the Kuva Dragoon can do this. In the Excellus mod slot, it can plug in the weapon Augment. Unfortunately, this is not really the case when it comes to the Kuva Ogris. I mean, you can use a Dizzy Blast, Yahoo, mommy! But you cannot use what I know you guys want to use, Nightwatch Napalm. Check this one out. Yeah, it will not go in that one. Sadly not. Now, don't misunderstand. Nightwatch Napalm is a cool idea, bro, but it doesn't really add a whole lot of damage, as I will demonstrate. But before I do that, a couple of additional options. By the way, now you get to see the area of effect of your explosions. It's 7 meters, so you can increase this if you want even more AoE capability. You can go for something like, what was it, Fulmination? No, it wasn't Fulmination. Fulmination is actually for secondary weapons. Firestorm! Here you go, 24% blast radius going to 8.68. Is it worth? No, not really. Again, it's 1.7 meters extra. 1.7 meters is something, but from my point of view, I would rather go for an elemental mod. But first, we're gonna go with Nightwatch Napalm, because I know you guys, for some reason, love this bloody mod. Level 120 Corrupted Heavy Goons. Alright. So, look, I'm not killing myself with a full build. Yay, cautious shot OP and all that. Take a look at all those effects, man. Take a look at all those beautiful effects. I have everything to max, of course. And I'm standing in the fire. Oh, mama, don't burn me so hard. So let's go for a couple of shots on these guys. Are going to be free shots, and you can see the AoE effect from Nightwatch Napalm is basically everywhere, and I am applying a whole lot of damage to these guys. The heat proc now actually does some good amount of damage considering the changes that we got in the last patch. So yay, I killed them. They're all dead, mama. But it took free magazines or clips or whatever you guys want to call them. I don't want to hear it in the comments. Really, I don't. It's fine. Trust me. Unfortunately, you need 9 of these here rockets to take out a level 120 corrupted heavy gunner, depending on how lucky you were with your rolls, right? Normally, right now, I'm heavy duty into corrosive, so that's what I'm proccing first and foremost. And keep in mind that this weapon is what I like to call a console-friendly weapon. Not judging or anything, but you don't really need to get the rocket to actually hit your opponent, because the rocket physically impacting your target doesn't really do that much damage, so just go for console shots, my friends. Go heavily for console shots. So there's that. What else can we do to pump up this weapon to make it seem a whole lot more powerful than it actually is? Because it's not really all that powerful, but it's no slouch either, don't get me wrong. The problem is use case scenario for weapons such as this. What would be the use case scenario in this case? Go down to Fortuna, build gas, my friends. Build a whole lot of gas. So let's build a whole lot of gas. First off, we're gonna have to get rid of all the electricity on the weapon, and we're just gonna build a whole lot of Toxin. Okay, prioritize Toxin when you build gas. And as you can see, it will get combined with the default heat on my Kuva Ogris. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, didn't I? This is a 57% heat roll Kuva Ogris. Okay, so that's a pretty good roll. Your rolls can be between 25 and 60%. I would recommend you get either a heat Ogris or even better yet, a gas Ogris, as in get the Toxin elemental on it. Okay, so go with Saryn. Saryn is a Toxin progenitor. That would be my recommendation, but of course you can do whatever the hell you want. Now, what did I say? Oh yes, we need more heat. Please, mama, more heat. Here's something else that you can do. You can go for Wildfire, right? This one gives me magazine capacity, and honestly, when it comes to rapid firing a couple of rockets, it does matter. Going from 3 to 4. It really does matter. You don't have that 2.1 seconds as often. But, of course, in terms of DPS, Hellfire will be better. But in actual use case scenario, I would just recommend you guys go for Wildfire. Trust me on this one. Now that said, there's still one more thing. Some of you probably saw, hey, that slash is high, that status chance is high. Why don't you go for slash and viral with prime cryo rounds and all whatnot? My friends, I tried it. It's horrible. It's simply not all that good. You just get a couple of slashes, and to be honest, they're not really all that powerful anyway. So I tried slash on it. It simply didn't work all that well for me to recommend it. Now, speaking of recommendations, where's those Corpus? Let's Corpus Schmorpus. Something really tough from the Corpus. No. How about some corrupted crewman Eximus? You guys like these? Yeah, they're fantastic, aren't they? Beautiful bastards as they are. Again, I'm keeping invincibility off just so you can see that I am not killing myself right now thanks to Cautious Shot. We do have a couple of additional options in the Weapon Excellus mod slot as well, and as you can see, I mean, the Corpus, they cannot stand to something like the Kuva Ogris. I mean, come on, man. This weapon versus Corpus is absolutely freaking amazing. So if you just want something AoE capable of annihilating every single Corpus in the area, you want to go for something like this. Now the problem is, I know there's a whole lot of problems in this vid, sorry about that. Not all Corpus will be so vulnerable to the gas elemental combo. You can even use a Bane mod. Shh, don't tell anybody I recommended something like that. I know it's a pain in the ass. The problem is some of these Corpus have actual ferrite, not ferrite armor, the other type of armor, what's it called? Alloy armor behind those shields, and if you have alloy armor behind those shields, then what you want to get is something like radiation on your weapon. If you guys want default radiation damage on your Kuva Ogris, then use Equinox Prime as a progenitor, and I hope you guys get a really good roll. And that's pretty much it for a standard build, my friends. So let's look at a Riven setup. And to be honest, the ideal Riven for something like the Kuva Ogris is the same as for the Ogris. You want damage and multi-shot prio, and maybe a little bit of Toxin on that with a harmless negative. Because again, you don't got crit. But if you get critical damage on your Riven and you're willing to tie it into Warframe buffs, then Harrow is daddy. Harrow is your daddy, my daddy, everybody's daddy. He's absolutely fantastic. And if you guys manage to keep him alive, then kudos to you. So this is a corrosive setup, and we got this Riven right here. This is actually was a gift from a viewer. Thank you so much, I appreciate it, but we rolled it. The 29 rolls are ours. This is the best we could get. I'm sorry, that's it. Damage, status chance, heat, and minus zoom. If that heat was Toxin, I would have loved it a whole lot more. And if that status chance was multi-shot, it would have been better too, but what can you do? What can you do, boys? Beggars can't be choosy. Now, can they? The corrupted crewmen are pointless, so we're gonna go back to heavy goons. Corrupted heavy goons, level 120. 8 of them should do quite nicely. Honestly, it was a pain in the ass actually to upgrade Cautious Shot. I really didn't want to sink that in though, but there you go. Let's do it from up top here. As you can see, the power of the weapon did go up quite severely, but it's still not something that, I mean, compared to all the other Kuva weapons I have tested so far, it's simply not that powerful. Don't get me wrong, the weapon is no slouch. This is a hard-hitting weapon, and it's a whole lot of fun when you don't blow yourself up all the time. Even when you blow yourself up, it's fun the first 5 times and then you just get angry. But again, it's not a top tier primary weapon. Does it need to be? No, I honestly don't think so. As long as it's fun, as long as it's interesting. I mean, for the love of God, it's a goddamn rocket launcher. How is this not fun, my friends? How is this not fun? Again, you can try a slash build if you so desire. From my testing, it simply didn't prove all that powerful. Now, there's still one more thing, which of course we can do. Lady Mirage Prime or Lord Harrow. Which should we do, my friends? Because if you get Mirage, you get the clones and therefore more rockets. You get like 3 rockets per each times 5. That's beautiful rockets. But we are gonna go for Lord Harrow because we can get free critical chance. Kind of free. Think of it like that. Now let's hop into his build and see what kind of buffs we got. We can go for something like Rifle Lamp, but we will not do that because Rifle Lamp in this case, while it will provide a pretty hefty benefit against Grenier, it's always a smarter idea to go with Corrosive Projection. Now when your base damage is high, of course your Amp Aura will also provide a pretty significant bonus. We don't really need to go for additional critical chance if we're gonna be playing with Harrow. So what we can do is go for damage, right? And Arcane Rage. But wait. 10% chance for 120% damage to primary weapons, but it's an on-headshot effect. And believe it or not, it's actually quite difficult to get headshots with this weapon, especially with heavy caliber. So there's that. We can go for even more critical chance. Why isn't that pointless? Of course it's not pointless. There's like 1,000 tiers of crit in Warframe. So Harrow will give you 200% again on headshot. So that's a bit of a problem because you're not really going to be able to get consistent headshots. So we're going to just go for Avenger once again. Body shots, I think it gives you 50%. Plus another 60 from this, we should be going to orange crit territory. So Avenger are freeze. Yes, my friends, they do double stack. Link the cards right now for a full tutorial on Arcanes if you don't know everything about them up until this point. So once again, the same corrupted heavy goons, level 120, only this time they're gonna be on pause so they can hit me and I can get me buffs. We're gonna activate Harrow's fantastic 4th ability to save everybody in your party and forever not get a single goddamn fang. No, actually to get critical chance. That's why we activated, and of course his second ability which will give us reload speed as well as fire rate, depending on how much power strength you got and all whatnot. My friends, Harrow. Harrow is a beautiful, fantastic frame that everybody should have in their arsenal. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a thankless job. Okay, I got my crit chance. Take a look at that. Again, when I get headshots, sure, it's fantastic. If I go for body shot or console shots, I'm not really gonna get much past yellow. Just a couple of orange crits here and there. You see why I went with Arcane Avenger? That's pretty much the reason. Now let's be honest here. You've really thought that this would be fantastic and one-shot everything, but no. In this case, in particular, we're going to be getting a whole lot more bang for our buck out of Lady Mirage Prime. So today, it's going to be a 2-for-1 special, my friends. 2-for-1 special, Lord Harrow and Lady Mirage. Now, we're going to be using pretty much the same build as before with Arcane Avenger, but we're not going to be bothering with something like an Aura. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you want, but fine. Fine, let's go with something like Steel Charge. Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. Fine, corrosive projection. Arcane Avenger double stack. Here we go. Alright, one more time. Corrupted heavy goons, level 120. I'm gonna wait for them to hit me so I can get my buffs. And now you'll see that Mirage will actually destroy these targets a whole lot more easier than before. Or I messed up my math, in which case take number 1 will have to be take number 4. Or actually 5, or depending on how many I get. Here we go. A lovely clones, and of course her free ability for a massive damage increase. And once again, Lady Mirage is the superior choice, my friends. Every single day, this is the ultimate choice. Of course, she deals a whole lot more damage. What can I tell you guys? Again, even if Harrow does give crit, in case of the Ogris, the problem is the accuracy. You need headshots to get the full benefit of that critical chance. And Mirage just gives you flat damage, which is absolutely freaking beautiful. And I do believe, my friends, that is pretty much it for this review. I'm gonna try to sum up my thoughts on the Kuva Ogris. It's definitely an improvement, but it's not the oh wow, that was beautiful. It's not the improvement I was looking for. I didn't ask for a whole lot of critical chance. Just enough so I can slap on critical mods and to get a little bit better performance out of the weapon. It didn't need more base damage. It really didn't. It needed, at the very least, 12, if you would ever be so kind, the 15% base critical chance. And trust me, this would be absolutely freaking epic. As it is now, it's not like the weapon isn't epic. But again, it's a strong primary weapon, but it wouldn't make my top 10 primary weapons. At least not in its current state. As always, my name is BuM Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any sorts of feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Now, also in the comment section down below, if you guys want to suggest any particular weapon review versus or any piece of content. Now, in all honesty, I do read through the comments, guys. You probably noticed by now, but I can't exactly promise you that it will be done by next time or even within a week, because these things sometimes take a bit of time to make, especially when it comes to the Kuva weapons. But you can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content, consider supporting us via Patreon. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye.